Hi, it's Jules Muller, founder and CEO of Chicks Connect, and we are on June week 3, and we're talking about paperwork pileup. Oh, hi, oh, only handle it once. This is the advice of professional organizers, of which I am one. But this is ridiculous. Yes, it's a great idea, but it's not really feasible. So I have renamed it Oh Hit, not to be confused with the bad word. Oh Hit, only handle it twice. This makes more sense and you have a better chance of being successful with OHIT. We know that some of the paperwork will go directly into the trash, recycle, or shred bin, but what do we do with the rest of it? I will outline the steps that I take with my organizing clients to support them in creating a system to eliminate paperwork pileup. These are two types of filing systems, and you need both, reference files and active files. Your reference files, that deals with the paperwork that is necessary to keep for 1 year, 7 years, or forever. Your active files, that paperwork requires action now or within the week, month, or year. Hopefully you're doing this activity at home, but if you aren't, check your purse, your computer bag, or your notebook and pull out a pile of paperwork. If you are at home, simply find the horizontal surface where the paperwork piles up and you do the next steps from there. If you don't have a stack on you, quickly jot down a list of what usually comes in the mail or makes up your paperwork pile up. So let's think of some ideas really quickly. Maybe an invitation, maybe some news, catalogs and some newsletters, some bills, some credit card applications. And what else comes in the mail? Maybe a statement, a bank statement. Okay, so make your list there if you don't have actual paperwork in front of you. Now you either have your pile of paperwork or you have your made-up list. Ask yourself these questions about each piece of paper. Number 1, what is this? Number 2, what needs to be done with this? Number 3, where will I put this? Active or reference? Now, if it needs to be tossed, shred, or recycled, you just get it done and you do that at step 2, and then you don't have to go to step 3 and 4. And then what will I call the file? So here are some examples. Let's say we take your phone bill, your cell phone bill, invitation to a summer picnic, a newsletter, and insurance policy. So if it's the first one, your cell phone bill, we go, what is this? Well, it's a cell phone bill. Number 2, what am I going to do with it? I need to pay it. Number 3, is it active or reference? Well, it requires me doing something active, so I'm going to put it in my active files. And what's the file name going to be? To pay. It could also be accounts payable, pay, bill pay, anything you want to name it. All right, what's the second one? Invitation to a summer picnic. What do I need to do? I need to RSVP, put it on my calendar, and decide what to bring. Is this an active or reference file? It's an active file. And where am I going to put it? In my To Do Today file. Okay, what's the next thing? It's a newsletter. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to read it. Is it active or reference? Active. And what's the file name going to be? Read or To Read. And what's the last one? It's an insurance policy. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to file it in my reference folders. Excuse me, telephone. And I'm going to file it under insurance. Are you getting the hang of it? Take each piece of paper and make a decision and follow the 4 steps. Then you'll see that you'll be left with a stack of active files and reference files. File away your reference files in alphabetical order or box them up in long-term storage, depending on what it is that you are storing. We need to remember that the word active means that these pieces of paper need to be dealt with and scheduled onto your calendar. Here are some suggestions for your active files. Create a place on top of your desk for active files. See the links for examples of products. A step filing system. Let's just click here and see if this actually takes us to it. Awesome, it does. Okay, so here's a picture of what it is I'm talking about. So you can put all your active files right here and it can sit on a flat horizontal surface. Sometimes I've used these filing systems in my clients' kitchens because that's where all their mail lands. It lands on their big island or maybe a sidebar in the kitchen somewhere. So you can put these active files, sometimes they have a little office right there next to their kitchen, and you can put it there as well. So figure out where the place is that your mail is landing, and then that's where you probably want to put this so that it's a natural fit. If your desk is too small on top, put your active files in another convenient place. Active files need to be attended to daily. Schedule the time. It might just be 5 minutes where you bring in that mail, sort it out real quick, put it in the active files, shred, recycle, toss, or put it in the reference files. That maybe just takes you 5 minutes a day. Doesn't mean that you're actually going to pay your bills, every time. Pick a couple times a month, maybe 4 times a month that you need to pay your bills, once a week. It depends on, your cycle, what you have to do with that. I've attached a list of possible active file names. Remember to pick the name that best fits your brain and how you'll retrieve the information. Every piece of paper can be filed in either active or reference files, meaning after you've already tossed what you don't need, recycled it, or put it in the shred bin. Determine when you will pay bills. Then gather the to-pay active file and sit down with the necessary items to make this task as successful and efficient as possible. So you have your file, your stamps, your checkbook, your computer for online banking, your to-file active file to put the paid bills in once you pay them. Write a date on write the date that you're paying them on the bill so that you know when you paid that bill in case there's any question later on. Then you can file that away. Suggestion for the to-read file. Take this file with you when you know you'll be waiting. For example, doctor, dentist visits, oil changes, etc. So take that to-read file when you want to do that. Or maybe you want to go sit out in the sun for a few minutes and read some of the things in your to-read file. Think of your active files as fluid. You need to take action and then push it to the next place. In some cases, that's the recycle bin. Only keep what you really need. Catalogs, magazines, and brochures can also pile up, right? Message me if you need support with this challenge. Hugs to all of you as you embrace your paperwork pileup and create a solution once and for all. So here's some ideas of action files. So accounts payable, we also called that to pay. These are people that you need to pay. Accounts receivable, these are the people that need to pay you. So maybe you have your invoices where you have invoiced someone else and you're waiting for them to pay. Calendar entry, here you'd put invitations, events, etc. People you need to call to follow up or collaborate. Data entry, it needs to be entered into the computer. So maybe you have a stack of business cards or something that you want to enter into the computer in your contact management system. So don't have them just, all over your desk and stuck in the sides of your computer and in your purse. Stick them in a file and then schedule 20-30 minutes to actually sit down and do some data entry entered into the computer. Discuss, so this might be items for your VA, or maybe you have something to discuss with your husband, your business partner, your employees. Each of these may have their own file. Errands, so you can put coupons in there, your dry cleaning ticket, things like that. Expense reimbursement, here's where you'd put your receipts and then you'd file your report once a month. File, these are the things that need to be kept and you want to put them in your reference files because they're important. Online, so these are the things, when people say, hey, check out this website or check out this app or whatever. So you may have jotted, written it down on a little piece of note paper. So schedule some time where you just surf the web and look up those things that you intended to look up. Pending. So a lot of times you'll place an order, you will get your flight, tickets, things like that, and they'll say keep these in a safe place until your item arrives or until you take your flight. That's what your pending file is. Photocopy. So maybe you're doing a project and you have a whole bunch of photographs that you want to take colored copies of. You'd put those in there and start collecting them until you could go do them all at once. Read and review, so this would be your newsletters, your brochures, and your cards. Remember we talked about taking that to the dentist or doctor visits, or maybe you're waiting for an oil change, things like that. Scan, I don't know, how many people scan things anymore. Sometimes we just take photographs with our camera, but if you need to scan it and then upload it into Evernote, or maybe you have so much paper that you really just want to scan everything and get it into an electronic document, that might be a project that you're working on. So just throw all those important things into a file and then schedule the time to actually scan. Send. So here, these are things that need to be mailed or you need to take to someone else. And let's say you work away from your home and you come across things throughout the day that you want to make sure and take home with you because they're either personal items or you need to attend to them when you get home in the evening. Have a file for that and put those there. Then you can get really detail oriented and create files for each day of the week. And some of that paper, remember, is fluid. And so you're dealing with it maybe on Monday, but then the person said they'd call you back on Thursday. So you could write down your notes for Monday, what you did with that, and then just simply file it in Thursday. So when Thursday comes, you open up Thursday and you have your whole list of things you need to do. Oh, that person's calling me back today. I decided that I would work on that project today. I would create that social media post today. So all those little hints are in the Thursday file. Then what you don't get to on Thursday, you can transfer to Friday or determine what day of the next week that you want to actually do those things. Oftentimes we get paperwork that we really don't need to attend to, and it's part of the pile up, but it doesn't need to be done for, 2 or 3 more months. So go ahead and file it in the next month file and take a look at it. Maybe you need to renew your health plan or something, but it doesn't need to be done for a couple months, so you do want to put it off during this very busy month. So the more organized you are with your paperwork, the less stressed and overwhelmed you will be with the big, big pile up. So put it somewhere until you're ready to attend to it. But remember, make that your own, your own names of the files so that you know where to go looking. So website, often I love to look at other people's websites and see what I like about those so that when we're ready to redo ours, I can have a list of different websites that I want to go and take a look at. Articles, so when you're writing, maybe you come up with an article idea or story starters, jot those down and stick them in that file. Now a lot of you I know do this on your computer, so you don't have all these little pieces of paper, but some of us, and I am one of them, love to write still, and I handwrite a lot of things, a lot of ideas. I have tons of journals, and so I actually take action on those items by putting them in my files and then attending to them at the scheduled time. So then what other pieces of paper did you have that you didn't have a category, didn't find a category on this list? Send them to me so I can update my master list with your great ideas too. So I want to encourage you to have a super week, happy connecting with one another, and I would love a before and after picture if anybody would like to take the challenge of creating a system for their paperwork pile up. Simply send it to jules@chicksconnect.com. That's JEWELS @chicksconnect.com. Have a great week.